Well, good morning everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again. We are in Europe, and for a change I've opened up this shot at around 6 o'clock in the morning. We're in Croatia, and this is Dubrovnik Airport, Lima Delta Delta Uniform. This is a payware scenery by Davor Puljevic, and you're looking at version 1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. It downloads at 444 meg and it installs at just over a gig, 1.09 gigabytes. It's currently available from Sim Market. And the price, €19.80, which equates to roughly $21.46 US, or £16.87 UK. Though the above prices are estimates taken from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course may vary depending on which country you're in when you purchase it. Yep, just thought we would have a look at this early morning opening shot here, just to give you a little bit of an idea of how the airport looks. Now, Davor is a well-known developer. I've had Dubrovnik in P3D, so I know what it's like, and I've flown in here many times on the simulator, so it seems only right that I should review the product. And personally, I'd like to thank Davor for giving me access to the project here so that I can carry out the review for you. Davor's work has always been good. It's not right up there with the best ones, but this I think is his first venture into Flight Sim 2020 scenery, and we're going to have a good look. But first of all, let's bring the daytime back and let's look at some key features. Okay, key features of this scenery. We have extremely detailed photoreal airport scenery, both outside and inside the terminal. Custom-made textured objects based on high-resolution photos. Fully functional jetways. Default ground services with custom Dubrovnik vehicle textures. Correct mesh of the airport, and also a good adaptation to the updated MSFS default Dubrovnik town. Scenery includes all modifications and reconstructions up to January 2024. So this is as current as he can get momentarily, and yeah, I've had a look over this, and it's perfectly acceptable. It's not up there with Fly Tampa or anything like that, but I think it's, if you want Dubrovnik, quite a detailed scenery for Flight Sim 2020 at the moment, this looks to be the one to go for. However, let's reserve that sort of thing to the end, and let's have a look at some history. Okay, history. So, Dubrovnik Ruda Boskovic Airport, or Lima Delta Delta Uniform, also referred to as Klipi Airport, is a public-use international airport owned and operated by Dubrovnik Airport Limited. The airport serves the city of Dubrovnik in Croatia. This airport is located 9.5 miles or 15 kilometers southeast of Dubrovnik city centre near Klipi. It was the third busiest airport in Croatia in 2019 after Zagreb and Split airports in terms of passenger throughput. It has the country's longest runway, allowing it to accommodate heavy long-haul aircraft. The airport is a major destination for leisure flights during the European summer holiday season. Yugoslav flag carrier Airport initially used a seaplane station in Dubrovnik to open the first route to the city in 1936. It linked Dubrovnik to the national capital Belgrade, operating via Sarajevo. The following year, a route to Zagreb was inaugurated. But it was in 1938 that Dubrovnik saw a significant increase in air traffic, with the introduction by Airport of regular flights to Vienna, Brno, and Prague, with stops in Sarajevo and Zagreb, and also the introduction of a regular flight between Belgrade and Tirana, with a stop in Dubrovnik. The current Dubrovnik Airport opened in 1962. During 1987, the busiest year in Yugoslav aviation, the airport handled over 800,000 passengers on international flights and a further 586,000 passengers on domestic services. Following the breakup of Yugoslavia, the airport surpassed the 1 million passenger mark in 2005. In September 2023, it surpassed the 2 million passenger mark. In 2023, the airport was renamed to honour the astronomer and polymath Roger Joseph Boskovic. Today, Dubrovnik boasts the most modern passenger terminal in the country. A new terminal has been built in place of the old airport building, which dated from 1962 and which has now been demolished to make way for a new modern structure. The airport consists of 3 terminal areas, A, B and C. The spacious new Terminal C was opened in February 2017 and became fully functional in April 2017 as it replaced Terminal A for all passenger departures, including check-in and security. The new terminal features check-in with commercial space stretching over 1,000 square meters, 8 security lanes, departure lounge with commercial and catering facilities, a premium lounge and restaurants. Operationally, it boasts 16 gates, 2 of which will be used for domestic flights and the remaining 14 for international services. Some 40 airlines operate both scheduled and seasonal flights into and out of Dubrovnik, including Aegean Airlines, Air France, British Airways, Iberia, JETWAYS, Fly Dubai, and the national carrier Croatia Airlines. So there you are, folks, some history. The airport has been around quite a while and undergone quite a significant amount of development in recent years, certainly due to European passenger traffic and the holiday throughput every summer where people come down here. When you fly into Dubrovnik, just be prepared for the occasional hairy landing. The airport is known for wind shear and crosswinds coming down off the mountains here, but as you can see, it also sits in a really nice visual location. So that was history. Let's look at runways now. Okay, runways. It's now 7 PM local time, and as you can see, we've got this beautiful sunset coming down across the airport and over the mountains. So Dubrovnik Airport operates a single runway, 1129, and according to Jeppson's November 2023 chart, the runway measures 10,597 feet, or 3,230 meters, and is constructed from a concrete asphalt mix. Now I also need to mention that certain online sources put the runway length at a slightly higher 10,827 feet, or 3,300 meters. Not really sure which is which, but I've gone by the latest Navigraph chart. The airport lies at an elevation of 527 feet, or 161 meters, and sits within the GMT UTC plus 1 hour time zone. Now, like much of Europe, Croatia does indeed observe Daylight Saving Time, or DST, and with both the UK and Croatia now on DST, the airport remains 1 hour ahead of the UK. So we start by we're looking at runway 11 end, and here we are looking down the throat of it now. And as you can see, Davor has instituted the correct pole system that houses the approach lighting system, again as per the chart. So runway 11 features high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting system, centerline lighting, and precision approach path indicators on the left side. So this is all correct. And as I've just said, the major approach lighting system is at this end, and if you look at it in real life, if any of you've seen any of the EasyJet videos going into Croatia, into Dubrovnik, you'll note the existence of this lighting system here based on the poles. Approaches available here: you have an instrument landing system with Y and Z approach options. There's an RN pre-approach option, a VOR approach option, and there's also a locator approach option as well. So this is all correct, pretty much as per the charts that I've got, and that looks fine. So let's go up the other end, runway 29, and have a look at that. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 29, and you've got that beautiful view there of the sun disappearing below the mountains in the distance. So runway 29 features the same high intensity runway lighting and high intensity airfield lighting system. The centerline lighting also extends to this end. You have lead-in lighting system, the airfield lighting system, runway and identifier lights, and you can just see them here, and precision approach path indicators again on the left side. So again, pretty much as per the charts, nothing wrong here, everything is pretty much correct. So approaches available at this end, well, you have an RNPB approach, an RNP runway 29 AR approach, a VOR approach option, and also you can do a visual approach option, which is why you have the lead-in light system available. Just one final thing to note, Dubrovnik does have limited operating hours. In the summer season the airport's open for operations between 0400 and 2100 GMT, and in the winter season it's 0500 to 2100 GMT. So 4 in the morning till 9 at night in the summer season, which basically is 5 AM to 10 PM, because obviously they move forward an hour. In the winter season, we both move back, and you pretty much have the same times. So as I said, no night flights operating here as far as I know for the moment. So that's the runways out of the way. Let's have a look at how the jetways work in this scenery. Okay, so jetways, so here we are, spawned directly from the menu onto stand 11. As you can see, we're not quite on the spot, but let's see how the jetway reacts. There she goes. Visually looks good, it's nicely weathered. Once again the stairwell goes into the concrete, but that's no big issue. Well, you can see the hood is already extended and it's gone right into the side of the aircraft. However, at least the jetway works. Let's get a closer look. So there's the jetway connected. As you can see, there's a gap at the bottom, and the hood, which is already extended, it doesn't self-extend, not really sure why, has also gone well into the skin of the aircraft, but there's a connection there. Jetway itself overall is nicely modelled and weathered. I mean, it looks good, looks very realistic. Stairs have gone into the concrete quite significantly, but this happens in a lot of sceneries. So let's look from the other side. So there you can see the gap at the bottom and slightly at the top, and of course we've gone right into the skin. But at least the jetway is connected. Here you can see through the glass, which is slightly dimmed, so the glass is misted. That's really good. And down here you can see the markings for the Airbus A321 and the 737-900. As you can see, I've spawned from the menu and we're not directly on the mark. But however, we'll see what happens at some point. Wheels look pretty good, they're slightly off the ground, but no real issue. Let's look inside the jetway now, see if we can open the door. Okay, so here we are inside the jetway, and for a change we can back up and expose the whole of the side of the aircraft within the jetway without actually backing into the closed door behind us. As you can see, significant penetration on either side of the jetway by the hood, which was already extended. But the top and bottom, the top looks reasonably okay, and the bottom's not too bad, although that wouldn't be acceptable in the real world. Okay, so let's open the door now and see how that works. Right, so there we are, that's not too bad. Let's have a look from the side view. And there we can see the door's fully open and it's not breached the jetway at all, which is good. That's a real plus. You don't see that too often. Maybe about 40%, 35% of the jetways I see, when they open the doors, they usually infringe the side of the jetway in some way or other, but that's near perfect. So in a way that makes up for the connection. Let's look from the inside out. So there's the closed shutter, the end of the jetway. As you can see, quite a substantial foot area, which allowed me to back up quite a lot, which was good. Okay, let's disconnect the jetway. So the jetway pulls away quite nicely, the action is pretty good. The wheels don't turn actually, although they're actually facing the right way to begin with, which is a big help. And there we are, back in its original position, but as you can see the hood is already extended. Not sure why, I see that in a number of sceneries, but there you go. So all that remains is for us to close the aircraft door. So there we go, all sealed up. So there you go, that was the jetway test. So let's now get down and have a really good look at the scenery and see how well it performs. Okay, so we're back to around about midday here. As you can see, the airport does look a bit brash. It looks obviously the grass and everything there on the airport itself looks really sort of well summer burnt, as it were, but I think this is the way it looks in the real world as well from some of the photos I've seen. So we're starting at the eastern end here. Let's move west airside and have a look at what we've got. So markings look good. There's the fence line to the left. Taxiway signage in the correct place. And there's still construction work going on here, so it's absolutely right that you've got the construction bits and pieces there to the left that we just looked at. Various aircraft and bits and pieces. The buildings look good. Many of these buildings are parallaxed on sort of the windows, as it were. But as you can see, the ground markings airside, there's the fire station. Clutter all looks pretty good. All got the right vehicles, although one or two there seem to be buried in the concrete. Now here we come to the stands, and again the front of the building looks perfectly good. It looks just as it does in the real world. And airside there looks pretty impressive. All the right markings, you're really not going to have a problem. And then we get to the far sort of western end here, airside. More parking stands there, and you've got the fuel farm in the distance. So a quick look at some of the taxiway markings and signage. Taxiway looks fine. I don't see any centerline lights in the taxiway, although their blue airfield edge lights are there. So here's the exit sign coming off the runway when you land on, if you land on 29. This is a high-speed exit where you can come off. Markings are good. The signage is just basically placed straight down. They're not on any plinths or anything. But you do have WIGWAGS, or as the Americans call them, runway guard lights. And yeah, it all looks pretty impressive. It's perfectly acceptable. And as some of you probably know, this airport in real life features follow me vehicles. So when you come off the runway, a lot of aircraft are taken to their stands by follow me vehicles, and so this is why you have this written in the concrete here. And here's another example, and there's a little spelling mistake there. Really, that needs to be D instead of F. It should be hold for follow me. So Davor, if you're watching this, little thing to correct there when you have a minute. So nice accurate fence line below us. Here's the fuel farm, a couple of tankers, and tanker station down there as well. And again, road system and everything all modelled in 3D, which makes it look so much better than when it's left to photoreal. Just looks so much better. Okay, coming across the open stands here, let's do a pass landside and have a look and see what we've got. Just trying to get the right speed here. Fence line looks good, and as you can see there are certain gates in it as well. Car models are really good. No real dodgy looking car models. And again, the landside area is all done in 3D, which makes it more than acceptable. And here you can see some parallax modelling on the building there. And there is internal development here in the main terminal. And under here looks perfectly acceptable, looks very nice. And here we've got a group of people outside departures. Would like to see more. Nobody outside arrivals. but you've got the appropriate taxis and everything, which looks great. There's the walkway above, and again, I mean, it just looks good. It really does. And you continue landside, and I mean, the trees are great. Very, very nicely done. And it's fine. There's the back of the fire station. And again, you've got the fence line just as it should be. 2.9 meters high with a crank neck, razor wire on the top. Just as it should be. And once again, an example of parallaxing. Here you've got more cars in the car park. And again, some nice signage, and it all looks pretty real. Looks great. Yeah, no real complaints at all. It looks fine. I mean, okay, we'd all love it to be much, much more detailed and everything, but I mean, I believe this is Davor's first venture into Flight Sim 2020, and it's acceptable, very acceptable. So just a quick tour westwards. As you can see, the default scenery is on the left, where they've got vehicles a bit all over the place, but his scenery blends in pretty well. There you can see it from a higher level, the entrance to the airport, and it's all been done. It's all been done really nicely here, and actually looks better than the default stuff there to the left. Okay, let's have a closer look at the stand area, which is what you guys are interested in. I mean, airside looks great. And I don't know, that looks to me as if you've got, yeah, it looks as though you've got working a visual docking guidance system. I'll have to try that out at some point. But airside, stand-wise, looks good. Here's my aircraft on stand 11. And looks pretty impressive. And here you can see various follow me cars, the yellow and black ones, that come out to guide aircraft into the stands. So let's check out the control tower. From the outside it looks perfectly acceptable. Right, that I'm not sure. Okay, so I don't think it is parallaxing, but this is what it looks like from the outside. Let's pop inside, and there we are. We have a developed control tower. Nothing fancy, but it's there, and you've got 3 people inside, and you know, that's what you want. Realism, isn't it? Really. And there's a view looking east out of the airport there towards the runway 29 threshold. It looks good, and looking out through the glass looks realistic as well. It all looks very nice as we go across the top of the terminal building. It looks really good. Right, let's go inside the terminal building airside and see what we have. It's been developed, and it looks like we've got people, yes. So that looks good. There's the lower level, looking sort of westward. Nice to see some people, quite a lot of them. Okay, they're all fixed figures, but they work, and as you can see by my camera, no frame rate drops or anything like that. And we've also got check-in staff, which is good. Do like to see check-in staff where you've got passengers in front of a check-in desk. And there's a look in the other direction, and here you can see the elevators, or the lifts as we call them, and this looks to me like parallaxing, but it's a good job. A nice job has been done there. So there's the mezzanine level, which is the middle level, and you can see we've got more seating and passengers. And there's the view in the other direction, and once ahead we've got like I mean, these photos are high resolution, and so from this distance they look realistic, they work, and that's good. And once again, more passengers and bits and pieces. So we've got an internal bit of the terminal here that looks like it's come to life, which is something I like. And as you can see, no real frame rate hit at all. And finally we have the top level, the upper level. And here's the restaurant. We've got a couple of guys on a photograph there looking at the restaurant area where you go and collect your food. Unfortunately nobody's sitting here, but you know, it's fine, and the intricacy of the roof design makes this really look good too. It's quite nicely done. So let's have a close-up look at landside. Here we go, a couple of signs here. I want to see the resolution of this sign, and that's pretty good. We're up quite close and you can see sort of pretty much what the sign is, which is good. And here you can see close-up signage, landside, and we've got people there, and the departure board as a police officer, which is good. Let's go inside. And once again, landside is fully developed with signage, people, check-in areas. Looks really good. There's the east end of the building, and there you've got stairwell going up to the upper level. Another little restaurant, and this time we've got people there. So we're coming up to check-in. We're landside here. Let's have a look at what we've got. Lots of static people. And once again, okay, they've only got one check-in desk open, but it's manned, and that's the important thing. And the models are quite fine. Oh, there we go. We've got two check-in desks open. And it looks fine. Currency exchange there to the right. And you can see out through the glass to landside. And the terminal continues. It's all really nice. It's all perfectly acceptable. For a first entry into the new simulator, it's good. No complaints really at all. Okay, so there was a daytime tour of the airport, both inside and outside, and it's more than acceptable. It's a lovely scenery, certainly during the day. Let's take it down to dusk now and have a look at the lighting. Okay, 7:10 in the evening local time, and as you can see, the terminal actually looks pretty good now. Even the parallax parts of it look good, because they've been designed to work with the lighting. There's my aircraft on stand 11, and you can see the various bits of lighting. Quite subtle, but the stands are well lit. There we are looking east towards runway 29 threshold in the distance, and you've got the blue airfield edge lights. They don't look quite prominent here at dusk. They probably look better at night time. I see this in a few sceneries. When you go to dusk, the lights come up and they're quite nice, but they're not that powerful. But then when you go to night time, what you should sort of be seeing during the dusk hours tends to appear when you go to night time. And there we are looking west towards the city of Dubrovnik, which is up here, and you've got the bay over there. It looks great. So let's get down to the stand and see what stand lighting is like. So here we are on my stand where I'm parked, and as you can see, the lighting is provided by these huge lights above the stand stanchions, so all very acceptable. No asobo globes to be seen anywhere. Some very nice lighting coming from the terminal, and you've got lights on the vehicles as well. Here's a close-up view of the terminal from airside, and now it looks great. It really does. And for those of you that are interested, here's the view. It's 7:15, nearly 7:15 local time. And this is the view from the flight deck as you look out, and it looks pretty real. There's a view from the captain's side, and looking out across the first officer's side. So that's quite impressive, quite like that. So we take a short tour along the roadway here, airside, and he's done a nice job, it really has. Pretty much nothing's been left to chance. The details are really good, right down to the stanchions holding up the jetways there, sinking into the concrete. And as you can see, it's been well done, it really is. Just a little look airside here. Control tower's nicely lit up. And again, pretty much all of the windows and buildings have parallaxing, which gives a reasonably decent night effect. One quick look at the control tower. So from the outside, the further away you get, the darker it looks, but it doesn't look bad at all. And there's a view looking out from inside. Yeah, perfectly acceptable. Very, very nice indeed. So just a quick run landside to have a look at the effects. Looks a little over bright, but I don't think it's that bad actually. It's nice to see through into the terminal, and it looks quite effective. Very different, and yeah, it's great. There's the car park, lots of signage, various buses and bits and pieces here. The bus models are a bit blocky, bit sort of squarish, but no, they're okay, it's fine. And here you've got the car rentals. Again, very basic, straightforward buildings, but perfectly acceptable. And again, pretty much not an Asobo globe in sight, so very pleased with that. And here's the entrance. You've got various signs here. Which looks really impressive. It's the main entrance to the terminal there. It's only when you get away from the scenery onto the default where you see this kind of mismatching here where these cars are parked. And we've got this little petrol station over here. And again, some nice attention to detail. He's even parallaxed this, so when you go up close, you've got evidence of what's going on inside. I mean, it could just be left to a block building, but no, he's taken the time to do this, which I think is excellent. So there's a high level shot looking east. You've got runway 29 threshold in the distance, and there you can see the various bits of subtle lighting. Some of the buildings' parallaxing windows are showing quite nicely. And there we look west, and you've got the main terminal down there to the right. All of the road system landside, all 3D modelled with the correct signage, and I can't see any Asobo globes at all in this area. Very, very well done. So one more high level shot looking towards the west, and as the sun drops a bit lower and lower, now you can see the blue edge lights are starting to come up. The runway signage, taxiway signage down here is also nicely lit. So let's drop it to night time now and see if there's a major change in the lighting. Okay, it's 5 minutes to 10 PM local time, and technically summer season the airport would cease operations in about 5 minutes after 10 PM or 2100 UTC. So this is what you'll see just before the last aircraft comes in. And as you can see, the lighting has come up. This whole airside area looks a lot brighter. The blue airfield edge lights now are showing a lot more, and they probably will look a lot better as we get lower. We'll have a look in a minute. And they're looking towards the east. That's the other end of the runway 29 threshold there to the left. And as you can see, the lighting extends all the way out. So here's the high-speed exit going into the runway, and there you can see the wigwags, and they're white instead of yellow, which is different here. And you've got the runway here, denotation, different signage. No green centerline lighting here at this airport that I can see. So let's get a little close-up look airside here at night time. As you can see, the ramp is great. It's beautifully lit. Really is no issues at all. Jetways look great. Many airports kind of come to life at this time of the day, or night as I should say. It's really good. Flags there but not animated. And all looks fine. Fuel farm there in the distance. Have a quick look landside. It's a nice shot of the moon up there. And you can see here landside, some of the lighting is sort of tungsten yellow. And we do a quick pass landside and you can see lighting is fine. It looks lovely. And the terminal beautifully modelled. Various signs here and there. And even the roof has lighting, as you can see. It's not bad at all. I like it. So just a high level shot there showing you the airside area and the landside area. You've got the fire station down there. And lighting wise, it looks wonderful. So let's bring the dawn up, and the sun should come up to sort of behind me and slightly to the left. Okay, 5 AM local time or 4 AM UTC, which is when the airport effectively opens and the first flights can come in or go out. And this is the scene as the sun has come up behind me. Get the slight colouring on the buildings, not as red as you would think, but then the sun's up to the point where operations can start. There you've got runway 11 threshold in the distance with the mountains to the left. And there you've got runway 29 in the distance, and the sun there starts to appear over the top of the mountains. Very nice indeed. Okay, 6 AM in the morning, and time to give you my thoughts on this project. So Dubrovnik Airport from Davor Puljevic, who's a known developer, used to develop I think certainly for P3D, and he might have done some for FSX as well, so he's no stranger to scenery design. If I remember correctly, he did Split and another airport as well in Croatia for P3D, and here we are. I think this is the first attempt for one in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It's really nice. Price wise, do I think it's worth it? €19.80 including tax. It's probably a little on the high side. I would say this is probably worth about 17. But you know, you can quibble here and there about the price. It's actually not bad. Again, you've got a lot of detail. Flight Sim 2020 offers developers the ability to add things that you wouldn't get in other airports or in other versions of the simulator, and you've got to think about time and effort involved. As far as I understand it, Davor is a one-man band, so everything he's done here is all his own work. It's not been farmed out to a team of developers. So you've got to think about the hours that have been spent creating and modelling the scenery, getting the terminal right, placing the passengers and the check-in desks, making sure the vehicles don't go all the way down the runway, and all the things that we don't like and that we do like. and so you look at the price based on those things, and yeah, it's okay. I think the price is fine. It's just probably €1 or €2 a little bit on the high side when you compare it to other really good sceneries that are still sort of under the €20 mark. But having said that, I mean, I have to say, if you want the best version of Dubrovnik for 2020, this is it. There's no mistake about it. Visually it's great. AIRSIDE for the pilots, it's got everything you need at dusk and at night time and during the day. And yeah, it's certainly worth flying into here. The ILS is fully tested and working, and pilots coming into runway 11, you guys got to watch out for the windy conditions that are often experienced at this airport. But it's a nice model, a nice project of this airport, and it's certainly got everything you need, and I like it. I really do. Thumbs up from me. And it's not a huge install either, just over a gig, and yet there's quite a bit of detail here. So there you go, folks. Dubrovnik Airport in Croatia, Lima Delta Delta uniform. This is a payware scenery done by Davor Puljevic, who has done a lot of sceneries for P3D and some for FSX. And you're looking at version 1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020, which we're looking at now. The download is 444 meg, and it installs at just over a gig. It's currently only available at Sim Market. Priced at €19.80, which equates to roughly $21.46 US, or £16.87 UK. Those prices are estimates taken from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course will vary depending on which country you are in when you make your purchase. I think it's nice. I've got no real problems with this scenery, just the one little anomaly spotted on the holding sign there for waiting for marshalling vehicles. There's a spelling mistake on that signing board. So Davor, if you're watching it and you fancy correcting it, well, you know, no problem. You can release a version 1.01 if you wish. But yeah, recommended. Nice scenery. Price really depends. It's up to you whether you want to pay that. I think it's just a little too expensive, but we're not talking a lot here. And as for a first attempt at a Flight Sim 2020 scenery, if indeed it is, I think it is, it's great. Once again, thanks to Davor for sending me a copy to have a look at it. And as ever, these thoughts and ideas and comments are my own. They haven't been influenced by the developer or anybody else. So thanks for joining me, folks. It's Thursday. I'm going to try and get a review out of the latest release from Fly Tampa. Rather surprisingly, they've come out with a UK airport Humberside, Echo Golf November Juliet. I've managed to grab a copy of that, and I'm going to try and get a reviewing of that before the end of the week, but we'll see. Coming in the future, those of you who watch things closely will have noted that Beautiful Model in the World and AMSIM have released their version of San Francisco International. This will be interesting to see, because there's the default version, which is actually pretty good, I have to say, which is obviously upgraded when Microsoft did the USA and added all of that. The default version of flights of San Francisco, the default version of San Francisco is not bad at all. So now we've got this payware version come out, and then of course we've also got Flightbeam working on the version for some time, and we all know how good their sceneries are. So AMSIM is very kindly sending me a copy of the San Francisco scenery so I can have a look at it, and I'll give you my thoughts on what I think in terms of it over the default. And then when we get the Flightbeam scenery, I will certainly review that as well. So guys, thank you for joining me. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot. Thanks very much for watching. Just a quick note, if any of you in the States are going to the Flight Sim Expo show in Las Vegas in June next month, I will be there over the 3-day weekend. I'm flying into LA where I'll spend one night and pick up a rental car, and then I'm driving across to Vegas, which is a trip I've done many times in the past and I wanted to do it again. I will be in Las Vegas on the Thursday, the 20th, so I'll be looking for maybe a dinner guest and a couple of drinks, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the event I will be about. And yeah, so you can come and talk to me and see what you think, and be nice to put some faces to names. So thanks again, take care, and I will see you in the next review. Bye bye for now.